Welkom terug by Nuusdag Perspektief. Ons gaan voort. Menslike hulpbronne beamptes en senior bestuurders het saam gekonkel om gevalle van seksuele teistering by die SABC toe te smeer. Nou, dit is volgens die bevindings van die Uitsaaiers Kommissie van Ondersoek na Seksuele Teistering. Die kommissie het 10 sake wat direk deur slagoffers ingedien is en 7 wat deur vletjieblaasers ingedien is hersien. Nou, nie een van die beweerde oortreders is opgeskort of aangekla van seksuele teistering nie. Die beweerde oortreders het dikwels aanhou werk en is later skuldig bevind op 'n laer klag, soos onprofessionele gedrag. Om seksuele teistering in die werkplek te bespreek, sluit die menslike hulpbronne konsultant en onafhanklike nie uitvoerende direkteur Jenny Jeffter by ons aan. Goeienaand, Jenny, en welkom.
Dank je, Hans.
Nou, as 'n menslike hulpbron spesialis, was jy geskok met die onthulings uit die kommissie wat by die SABC gebeur het, en is hierdie soort gedrag miskien algemeen in die kommersiële bedryf soos korporasies, maatskappye en in organisasies in Suid-Afrika?
Ja. Kijk, natuurlijk is een mens geskok. I think one of the big challenges is that when you are dealing with a national broadcaster and an organization in South Africa where labor legislation is underpinned by a Bill of Rights that enables employees or grants employees access to all kinds of mechanisms to deal with matters such as these in the workplace. And you find that an organization such as the SABC does not enable an environment that is free of sexual harassment. You have to be shocked. It is particularly shocking because sexual harassment is, in terms of the Employment Equity Act, labeled as an unfair discriminatory practice, both in terms of sexual orientation and gender. And so when one looks at the impact of sexual harassment on the culture in an organization, then it becomes even more alarming because seemingly based on the Commission's findings, there is a systemic deterioration of a climate which is meant to protect its employees.
Now, talking about that culture, die meerderheid van die seksuele teistering klagtes by die SAIK was deur vryskutpersoneel ingedien. Nou, dink jy dat vryskutters meer kwesbaar is in die werkplek as dit by hierdie soort gedrag kom?
Yeah. Look, I think there is a bit of vulnerability in the sense that freelancers generally don't have similar contractual arrangements as permanent employees would have. However, freelancers are protected by the same legislation that any employee in South Africa is protected. So they are really afforded the same rights as any permanent employee is afforded. Now, they may be vulnerable and it may be open to exploitation based on the contractual arrangements that they have, but they have the same access to deal with a matter or to address a matter and to seek redress in terms of a matter such as this. So essentially the same obligations on the employer that applies to a permanent employee applies to a freelancing employee.
Is die menslike hulpbron departement of die HR department, is hulle daar om hierdie mense ook te beskerm?
Natuurlijk is hulle daar. Kyk, menslike hulpbronne they provide a service. And the service essentially applies to everyone. So elke werknemer moet beskerm word in 'n sin. And there should not be added discrimination. So sexual harassment is already a form of discrimination. And when human resources determines whether they provide a service or support to a freelancer or a permanent employee and further exacerbates that discrimination, then certainly a freelancer would be on the receiving end of being discriminated twice in a sense.
Nou, hier is 'n skokkende ding. Die kommissie van ondersoek het gevind, en ek haal aan in hierdie geval, human resources and the most senior managers demonstrated a serious lack of knowledge and understanding of human rights statutes, gender relations, and issues of power relations between men and women. Nou, as 'n gebrek aan HR of aan menslike hulpbron kennis aanvaardbaar in enige organisasie, spesifiek by 'n uitsaaier soos die SABC?
Dit is nooit aanvaardbaar nie. You can never excuse ignorance of the law in a matter in an organization where you have trained HR professionals and you have management who have a fiduciary duty to ensure that employees are protected. So we know that we have wonderful legislation in this country. We have a Bill of Rights that protects employees, and that legislation, employment legislation, is literally based on the Bill of Rights that we have. So when we have all this legislation and people plead ignorance, it cannot be regarded as, it's actually inexcusable.